here's why I think Haas are in big trouble. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Race Week. Today we're going to be discussing Haas. Now, if you missed the news last week, Gunther Steiner, their team principal that's been team principal for a very long time, he departed the team. At the end, his contract wasn't renewed. So basically, in other words, he was fired. Obviously, his replacement is Ao Komatsu, who was already at Haas. He's been at Haas for a long time. So, they promoted someone within. Whether or not that's the best thing to do, we'll have to wait and see. Especially with Otmar Schaffner out there as well. But I asked you guys, will Haas perform better or worse without Gunther Steiner? And majority of you said worse. No RT Racing yet. I'm not surprised they would perform worse, since Gunther is going to cause that they might leave F1 in the future, for my prediction. And I will come back and talk about the future, because I do think that Haas's days are numbered in F1, and there will be some sort of thing. But first of all, I'm going to read about, obviously, what Gene Haas had to say, because obviously we need to get Gene's side of things. First of all, I'd like to start by extending my thanks to Gunther Steiner for all his hard work over the past decade and wish him well for the future. Moving forward as an organisation, it's clear we need to improve our on-track performances. In appointing Ao Komatsu as team principal, we fundamentally have engineered at the heart of our management. We have had some success, but we need to be consistent in delivering results that help us reach our wider goals as an organisation. We need to be efficient with the resources we have, but improving our design and engineering capability is key success to our team. Looking forward to working, I am fundamentally enjoying maximise the potential. This truly reflects to my desire to compete properly in F1. Now, being efficient with the resources we have is obviously where there was a disagreement with Gunther, because Gunther wanted more investment, and it's got to be a lot of the teams are investing. You look at Aston Martin; they completely rebuilt their they've added a new bit of their HQ as well. McLaren have got a new wind tunnel, and I'm not saying they need to do stuff, but the problem is, if those of you don't know, their European base is in the old Marussia base at Banbury, and Marussia were terrible for years. They got lucky really in 2013 with Jules Bianchi, who would, by the way, have been a future world champion had he not had that fateful crash. But yes, the car was terrible. So you've got to think, has there actually been any change to the inside? Have they tried to improve? Because it's not like Alfa Romeo, because Sauber now, as I need to start calling them. They've got state-of-the-art resources, but their car's just not been up to the scratch. And obviously the Audi are probably going to improve that. Hopefully, as they bring the right people in, they need to improve their car. With Haas, it's lacking everywhere, and that's the problem. The car. Hulkenberg's already been linked with a move to Sauber for 2025. So who knows what's going to happen there. It looks like Oliver Biermann is probably going to be doing that. Simone Resta, by the way, has also left the team recently as well. And he was on loan from Ferrari. So I don't quite know really what's going to happen to Haas. I think they're going to be last in the constructors. I don't think that the car's going to improve, and I think that it's going to be a struggle for them to score points. Hulkenberg will be leaving, and that will leave Magnussen alongside Behrman, as well. Obviously, he'll be on loan from Ferrari, because obviously Sauber will no longer be educating anything, and obviously Haas will want their ties with Ferrari still continue. And this brings me on to the future. There's two possible things that can happen here, and there's two possible buyers for Haas. Gene is probably not going to invest. I think that where he sees that You know, that this team needs a lot of investment, probably a brand new HQ. And, you know, you're only going to do that if you've got a lot of money. And there's sort of two players. One is probably more going to splash the cash on the other, because obviously one is going to be it's their main team, whereas one's going to be keeping it as their junior team. So obviously, AlphaTauri, they're getting a lot of upgrades from Red Bull for this upcoming 2024 season. That is, we know, part of their aerodynamics scene that was based at in the UK, so not at Faenza, but based in the UK. That's now moved to the Red Bull factory at Milton Keynes. So obviously, AlphaTauri are going to be making a step up and being in the midfield, and they could potentially be in the way of their Red Bull's rivals like Ferrari, like Mercedes. So this begs the question: what do Ferrari do? I mean, Haas are there. If Haas go, then there'll be no customers for Ferrari, because obviously one of the big people they could sell to is Andretti. Andretti has so far failed to get on the grid. So far, we're still waiting to hear from FOM whether they're going to accept Andretti's bid to come on the grid. Obviously, Cadillac are also ready building an engine for 2028. But ultimately, an easy way in for Andretti is buying that team. Obviously, Andretti would pull the money in upgrading the HQ and the factory to making sure that it is up to scratch and up to standard, probably with new wind tunnels, new aero facilities, etc., etc. Potentially there could be closer collaboration with Renault to begin with, or possibly McLaren as well. We'll have to wait and see about how that goes with Andretti. Those are the only two teams that Andretti gets on with. But that could be one avenue. Haas buys Andretti. They've got their sort of not really similar model, because obviously Haas have personnel at Ferrari. They've also got their base in the US, which is doubling up as their IndyCar base as well. So yes, obviously F1 is a lot more expensive, I think, in terms of compared to IndyCar. I don't know. I don't have the budget to say that, but obviously IndyCar is very is just in. Obviously there is logistic costs with F1 being a world championship. IndyCar is very much set in the United States, so yes. But so the other person the team that could buy for Haas is of course Ferrari. The Alfa Romeo name has gone. That team will not be accepting Ferrari junior drivers. And Behrman is being considered as a talent of the future. Ferrari will want to get, if he has a good season, and again this is a bit then Ferrari will not want to lose getting them access to that seat. Otherwise they're going to have to cough up. They don't want to be doing that. Plus, if the AlphaTauri model works, they could, they can continue trying to give parts to Ferrari, and obviously, maybe Alfa Romeo give that name back to F1. Obviously, they are in the World Endurance Championship, but bring that game back, buying out Haas. Obviously, they don't have, depending on what they decide to do with the team, because obviously whether or not they'd relocate the team to Italy or not, or something like that, I don't know. But that's the two scenarios. Let me know which is more likely to happen, because I definitely think that Haas are on the way out. Gene is not willing to invest properly, and that therefore, if you're not willing to invest, that team will fail. What they can with the current resources, I don't think it's just going to work. But yes, that is where I'm going to leave it on the Haas subject. I'm just going to quickly, obviously, touch on the McLaren law livery, because they just decided, well, screw it, we're going to launch it this week. And it's a lot better. I've been saying the orange and blue has never worked, I don't think. With black, it looks a lot nicer, personally speaking. It's not as nice as some of the part-time liveries they came up with last season. as well, but I do actually quite like it, and it's got chrome numbers as well, which was pointed out today. Yeah, it is. It's. I think it could have been a little bit better on the front. Looking from the front, it is just a Papria front wing. I think they could have done some black stripes or something just to improve that down the front. That's the real only criticism. Oh, and the chrome wheels never. I don't think they just really don't work with it. I think if they're black or Papria wheels, then they'd be a lot better. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below as well on the McLaren livery. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to leave it today's video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel to see plenty more F1 related videos every week. F1 gameplay videos as well. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day and goodbye.